Early life and education, 1818–1835. Karl Heinrich Marx was born on May 5, 1818, in Trier, in the Kingdom of Prussia, modern-day Germany. He was the third of 9 children in a middle-class family. His father, Heinrich Marx, was a lawyer of Jewish descent who had converted to Lutheranism before Karl was born, ensuring the family could integrate into Prussian society. His mother, Henrietta Pressburg, was from a prosperous Dutch family. The Marx household was intellectually vibrant but not particularly wealthy, and Karl grew up in a relatively comfortable environment. Marx showed intellectual promise early on. At 12, he attended the Trier Gymnasium, where he excelled in languages and literature. In 1835, at 17, he enrolled at the University of Bonn to study law but was more interested in philosophy and literature. His time in Bonn was marked by rowdy behavior, including drinking and dueling, leading his father to transfer him to the more serious University of Berlin in 1836. There, Marx immersed himself in philosophy, particularly the works of Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel, whose dialectical method profoundly influenced him. Young Hegelian and early career, 1836–1843. In Berlin, Marx joined the Young Hegelians, a radical group of intellectuals who applied Hegel's ideas to critique religion and the Prussian state. Under the influence of Ludwig Feuerbach, Marx began to develop his materialist worldview, rejecting Hegel's idealism. He completed his doctorate in 1841 with a dissertation on ancient Greek philosophers Epicurus and Democritus, but his radical views made an academic career impossible. Unable to secure a university post, Marx turned to journalism. In 1842, he became editor of the Rheinische Zeitung, a liberal newspaper in Cologne. His sharp critiques of Prussian censorship and social inequalities gained attention but led to the paper's closure in 1843. During this time, Marx married Jenny von Westphalen, a childhood friend from a Prussian aristocratic family, in June 1843. Their marriage, despite financial struggles, was deeply affectionate and lasted until her death. Paris and radicalization, 1843–1845. After the Rheinische Zeitung was shut down, Marx moved to Paris, a hub of revolutionary ideas. There, he edited the Deutsche Französische Jahrbucher and deepened his engagement with socialism. He met Friedrich Engels in 1844, beginning a lifelong collaboration. Engels, a wealthy industrialist's son, shared Marx's views and provided financial support. In Paris, Marx studied political economy, particularly Adam Smith and David Ricardo, and began formulating his theory of historical materialism, emphasizing economic conditions as the basis of social change. Marx's writings, including on the Jewish question and economic and philosophic manuscripts of 1844, reflected his growing critique of capitalism and alienation. His radical activities alarmed the Prussian government, which pressured France to expel him in 1845. Brussels and Communist League, 1845–1848. Marx relocated to Brussels, where he continued his intellectual and political work. He and Engels joined the Communist League, a small international group of radicals. In 1848, they co-authored the Communist Manifesto, a concise, powerful call for proletarian revolution. It outlined class struggle as the driving force of history, predicting capitalism's collapse and the rise of a classless society. Published amid the 1848 revolutions across Europe, the manifesto became a cornerstone of socialist thought. Expelled from Belgium in 1848, Marx briefly returned to Paris and then Cologne, where he edited the Neue Rheinische Zeitung, supporting revolutionary movements. Prussian authorities forced him out again in 1849. London, Struggle and Scholarship, 1849–1867. Marx settled in London in 1849, where he spent the rest of his life. The family lived in poverty, often relying on Engels' financial support. Marx and Jenny had 7 children, but only 3 survived to adulthood due to illness and poor living conditions. Despite personal hardships, Marx devoted himself to studying capitalism. He spent long hours at the British Museum, researching for his magnum opus, Capital, Das Kapital. Volume 1, published in 1867, analyzed the capitalist mode of production, surplus value, and exploitation of labor. It remains a foundational text in economics and sociology. Marx's health deteriorated due to overwork and poverty, and he struggled with boils, insomnia, and liver issues. International Workingmen's Association, 1864–1876. In 1864, Marx helped found the International Workingmen's Association, the first international, uniting socialist and labor groups across Europe. He played a leading role, drafting key documents and mediating disputes between anarchists, like Mikhail Bakunin, and socialists. The Paris Commune of 1871, a short-lived revolutionary government, inspired Marx, who wrote The Civil War in France in its defense. However, the First International dissolved in 1876 amid internal conflicts. Later years and legacy, 1876–1883. In his final years, Marx's health declined further, exacerbated by the deaths of his wife Jenny in 1881 and his eldest daughter, also named Jenny, in 1883. He continued writing, though volumes 2 and 3 of Capital were incomplete and later edited by Engels from Marx's notes. Marx died on March 14, 1883, in London, at age 64, from a respiratory illness. Impact and legacy. Karl Marx's ideas reshaped the world. His theories inspired socialist movements, revolutions, notably the Russian Revolution of 1917, and anti-colonial struggles. The Communist Manifesto and Capital remain influential, offering critiques of inequality and exploitation. Critics argue his ideas led to authoritarian regimes, but supporters view him as a champion of the working class. Marx's thought continues to influence economics, sociology, philosophy, and political theory. Personal notes. Marx was a complex figure. A brilliant scholar, a passionate revolutionary, and a devoted family man who endured immense personal loss. His partnership with Engels was crucial, blending intellectual rigor with practical support. Despite his flaws, stubbornness, occasional dogmatism, Marx's commitment to understanding and challenging systemic injustice defines his enduring legacy.